everybody! Welcome back to the most secretest, entertaining podcast in the world. Though I don't know that for sure because I don't have any of your feedback. The only podcast that nobody watches. As far as I know. Last week I went for clickbaiting in the title just to see if I could drum up anything. I believe I've been on YouTube trying to clickbait my way in before, but I don't know. I suppose that's that video that I still have up there. The only other video on my channel, that doesn't pertain or have anything to do with Potato Land. There is a little bit of a trying to persuade you into clicking on it title. Just getting rolling here, guys. Trying to, on the outset, trying to figure out how to navigate full, complete sentences. I'm trying my best to keep my chin down, is where it looks best, and don't want to pick up anything from previous podcasts this week. My intentions are to just barrel ahead. There are a couple things. I'm just going to mention them together, and you don't need any commentary on it necessarily, because if you're watching these podcasts from episode 1 up until now, which I believe is episode 19, then you are meticulously, especially if you're watching them, you have a careful eye on everything. So it's nice to get out of patterns and as well as get into patterns as well and stuff. And a little bit of last podcast was a little rough to watch for me, for sure. It's all good. The whole point is to not sink back into talking about all that stuff in the long run. But here, when you do a individual show for just yourself, I am truly, there's nobody else in this room. It's truly me to this device I'm looking at. Then you're bound to, you have to carry the lighter, juggle the lighter, smaller stuff as well. And so that's kind of what we try to do here. We try to come up with something of medium, with medium protein in it, a medium amount of protein, less fat, I suppose you could say. So yeah, I didn't understand a word, which just means we won't do the segment we have, which revolves around words this week. And looked it up, and I already knew that word, but either way. Also, I think we already covered the first bit, which was I haven't said enough at how I haven't described to the outside world that this is also, anyway, we already went over it. I can't figure out a way to navigate through it again. So there you go. What did I was going to say, what did I do this week? But maybe we should know how everybody's doing, or at least consider it. It's always important. And in fact, that's what I wanted to talk about. So it's weird. We're going through the phase where we know the end is coming soon, and by that I mean the beginning, the re-beginning, perhaps. And I'm experiencing from first-hand knowledge that everybody wants to finish the last leg of the race and not get COVID, and then possibly get their vaccine, or at least wait until then to decide. it's a difficult time. People are actually staying indoors this go round here for the first time, at least in Los Angeles, California, right? So all I was getting at is this week more than ever, I've been doing a lot of sleeping in, not a lot of production overall, I would say. And I predict that that's what a lot of people have been doing, but that we could have been doing better because we're just sliding into this ever so slowly. In fact, the news that the stimulus bill is headed our way has come out, and I don't really know how much we care to stay updated with all that stuff. But everybody kind of must have possibly had one of the worst weeks in recent times for them, just because not a lot of socializing, mostly I imagine, even though the weekends are nice and busy around here, these parts. I still, I get the idea. Not a lot of people really want to chat and stuff like that. It's very weird when it's very much the warming up process on this show, and I'm glad I have something to talk about, despite the subject matter. But it's very much what we're doing here. You get out of bed, you may have spoken to people on the phone, you may have Zoom called, but you get out of bed, you take your Uber, let's say to the airport or wherever it may go, and you're just not even quite ready to get up and chat, especially with all the visual cues and whatnot that you're getting from your Uber driver. So I'm sort of just music on medium level, a happy smile and nice greeting, whatnot. Very neutral stuff. The windows are cracked a little bit during these times. And by that I mean the back windows are twice as much cracked as the front, and that's just because, and it's not that, which is not that much, because most of these trips I plan on taking highways, and you go fast on the highways during the week, even during the weekends. Yeah. So, so they're not ready to warm up, and I imagine then after their ride, wherever they may go, maybe they do a little work, maybe they do a little socializing, but for the most part, I'm just getting the vibe that it was a chill week last week, and I don't know who I'm talking to. I mean, I don't know why I decide to talk about it if I'm talking to no one at this point. Especially because it won't make a difference in the future, but a little bit of an explanation there as to why it might be fun to, or maybe even difficult to get off your ass or pick up the ball and try and roll it down the hill, sort of a thing. And as far as entertainment value, I would give the last topic we just discussed here a very low rating. This is 85% meat, lean, or beef or something. 80%. I'm not going to pretend like I know. I'm going to have to look that up later. What else? I suppose we could talk about, well, we did the news. We did what's in my week. What's going on. We can't talk about your week. That's all I mean there, really. But as much as we possibly could, I mean to say. So I hope you're doing well overall, and everybody had a better week than I did. Oh, last thing, and all I mean is, didn't quite finish what I was saying. We've morphed into this new era where everyone wants to finish this last leg of the race, is what I said. And yet we're still used to, a lot of us out there are still used to the times, which are different from the times before. So I figure there's still some layover in terms of motivation. There's still some slop, some overlap on the earlier part of this coronavirus outbreak thingy, the earlier days where we can still carry some of our previous week into last week and still have motivation, which is great because I would say that the government was only about a week late on this new stimulus bill, but that's not fair to say. I understand I'm just one in 350 million Americans. And I realize now how specific and zoomed in this conversation really is. But with the American government and my opinion on the entire handling of the whole thing, and then we can move on, I think it is a decent job. You could definitely do, I see no reason why, well, I'm not that silly. You could definitely do more payments on a more regular basis, and the government should probably be focused on that area a little bit more. But I'm not big on handouts. I don't know. It's just not me, and I suppose it has everything to do with my background. But maybe an obvious, if you want to get inside my mind here, the obvious trend going in a good direction is less and less handouts for everybody. That's all I mean by that. I certainly could take a class in economics and whatnot. I also have a cozy job where I can jump in and out somewhat whenever I want. So at this point in my life, and you can kind of see by how many wrinkles I have, how old I am. Keeping my chin down is out the window as far as as far as the future. I don't know how I'm going to handle this. I know there was I used to watch a guy who I'm sure still does a daily show or something. I forget his name, big YouTuber. And he used to have the camera, he used to look straight, at a 45-degree angle up at it, which is something I suppose I could do, but then you would kind of see the bottom of my face morph into my neck. The beard is coming soon, guys. By that I mean I'm talking to myself. Yeah. So, was there more we could talk about? Think I might possibly be throwing too many eggs in too many baskets, which is definitely a unique concept in terms of modern times, because people have been sort of hacking their way to the top in one field and specializing, or hacking. You could say manipulating if you want to go that far. But I like having a diverse amount of interests. Excuse me, I burped there. At least it was an internal burp. Just a redirecting of the airflow deep within my cavities of my body. Anyway, so, what do I continue? If I forgot what I was saying, then that is a sign that we should just move on. The chin stuff, right? Okay. Enough of that. I'm also, I thought about writing stuff down, but I didn't want to because I like this podcast off the cuff, and maybe 15 minutes is long enough. Maybe we can try and always go for 20. And then I realized, if this is actually a fun podcast, and so far I don't think we've discussed anything much at length or in depth that is of any importance that maybe I haven't discussed in previous shows, possibly. So I'm not ready to go, but I would like to go for 20 minutes. And what I was getting at is maybe if I had, it's just my mental health, you know. I'm not going over, I don't know, maximum 40, 45 minutes. I'm not per week. No way. That's you guys sucking the electrodes out of my body. I don't know. Definitely not a science major or biologist or anything either. I did go to community college, but I really just did it to catch up in my math and check out some English classes. Hence the insecurities with all my misuse of language and whatnot. But I realize that that's mostly everybody. Trying not to kill the bit as I say that, kill the segment. What else? It's always fun if you are having a regular conversation with anybody to talk about the weather and what that means in terms of your mood and stuff. We had some rain the other day, yesterday, really, and it was just a light pouring, but it was nice and made, I'm sure, the air smell great for a moment there, or at least for a little bit here. And so that was nice and fun. In terms of news, what I want to go over anything that is happening. Oh boy, we are just going too far with this. I think it's time to wrap it up. Already going in circles over and over here, right? So I'm not sure I have anything else for you guys. I wish I wrote one thing down, but I'm not sure because we might have already mentioned it. Oh boy. This one is easy to say, not as good as the last three. But I'm doing okay. Despite what might come off as a symptom for COVID. I am doing well. There you go. Let's, if I can remember, let's talk about it. Just really a mini conversation here, but no toxins inside my system right now. And that's because I made a conscious choice not to have any. And good for us, we are doing a borderline mediocre show. By that I mean it doesn't even breach the other side. But I did it because I don't even want to subconsciously, I don't want to be looking back on myself when I do the editing and seeing that I'm drinking 4, 5, 6, whatever, 8 weeks in a row, even though it's fully okay by me to do it during these times. It'd be a reason to socialize with yourself. That's backwards. I'm sure that doesn't make any sense. So there you have it. My logic going into my approach this week. Did we get anything done? I wasn't gonna eat today, is how things were turning out. And then right before I started the show, went out to get some food. And now I feel better, but I completely packed my stomach full. So now, right before we started, I was like, I just gotta push record because the camera had been on for 10 minutes and I was starting to feel, get a little bit tired. It's sort of a pressure from all sides of your dome going inwards. In my estimation, I don't know. Great. We can end on me not knowing how to finish a sentence. I think that works for everybody. No, I hope you guys are doing well. And as far as going forward, still don't know how to, work on all the descriptions of the shows and stuff like that. Still getting into some basic stuff. Whether I want to mark it one way or the complete opposite or what. But for now, it's Braden's Secret Land, Potato Land. And how about next week we do some drugs? Yeah, guys, I've been doing okay, and I just hope you're doing okay. And by that I mean putting all eggs in all appropriate baskets, as many as necessary or as little as necessary, more likely. Get out there, enjoy yourselves. I did want to talk a little bit about what I do on a routine basis in terms of getting out there. And I will go outside and I will do a little bit of exercise once a day. And I will go outside and eat once a day. So that's 2 times a day, hopefully bare minimum. Yeah, and that way I'm getting my vitamin D, even though it's very little, very, very little. That was really just a joke. I'm not getting practically any vitamin D from it, but maybe there's a tiny bit of, I suppose. And I know they measure those units very small, so it sounds like a normal value if you tally it up. Perhaps. All right. Well, I was hoping we could just sit and hang this week and just chat about nothing. And we sort of did. To be a little more specific, I've been digging into my music a little bit and also digging into, let's just say, cracking open my history and trying to find humor inside it, and therefore giving myself a little therapy in the meantime. Yeah, other ways to get out of this COVID is to, besides watch my show, give me a critique on the color correction from last week, because I'm going straight back to just matching the opening sequence. I want to match the color from the first scene, and that's how it's going to be. So I apparently don't have enough lumens in this room, daylight lumens, daylight, as opposed to warm colors. Some hertz, some 4,000 hertz, 4,500 hertz. Whatevs, guys, I apologize. All right, now I'm just rambling, so it's time to go. But yeah, hope you like it or don't hate it too much. And there you have it. Enjoy yourselves. Get to work if necessary. If not, go outside a couple times a day. And who am I talking to? I don't know yet. I was thinking about taking that first video down before I started this podcast this week. But I think I'm going to leave it up there because I talked about it again in a different light. But it shall go. We'll find out a week that it's most appropriate. Probably when it loses all steam. It shall go. I don't know, guys. Okay. Love ya if you love me. Otherwise, go fuck yourself.